You know that feeling when spring rolls around and you find yourself on your knees again, digging, planting, hoping this year your herbs will finally last? You buy new seeds, new soil, maybe even new pots. But by the next season, it's the same story. Empty beds, dead roots, another replanting day. What if I told you there's a better way? A garden that grows back year after year without you having to start from scratch. Herbs that sleep through winter and return stronger every spring, like old friends showing up right on time. Today, we're diving into 10 perennial herbs that come back every year. No more replanting, no more wasted time or money, just living proof that nature knows how to take care of herself if you let her. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's walk through the garden that never dies. But before we begin, if you love simple gardening tips that actually work, and you believe in growing once and harvesting forever, make sure to subscribe and join this growing community of green thumbs who want their gardens to thrive naturally. When I first started gardening, I was stuck in the cycle. Every spring felt like a race, rushing to sow, water, and hope my herbs would make it through summer. I didn't even know some plants were meant to return. I thought everything died once frost hit. Then one winter something strange happened. I forgot to dig up a patch of chives near the fence. They looked completely gone, brown, lifeless, just straw. But when the snow melted in early April, I saw tiny green shoots poking through. By June, that same clump had tripled in size. That was the moment I realized not everything in the garden dies. Some plants just rest. And that's how I discovered the quiet magic of perennial herbs, the ones that reward patience more than hard work. Herb 1. Chives, the easiest perennial you'll ever grow. If you live anywhere from Zone 3 to Zone 9, you can grow chives like a pro without much effort. These little grass-like herbs are one of the toughest perennials you'll ever plant. They survive freezing winters, snow, drought, and even a bit of neglect. They die back when the cold hits, but reappear the moment the ground starts to warm. Chives are part of the onion family, and they grow from bulbs. Tiny ones that multiply underground every season. That's why they always return stronger and thicker than before. And they're more than a garnish. Chop them fresh over scrambled eggs, mix them into mashed potatoes, or sprinkle them on top of buttered corn. The flavor is gentle, like a soft whisper of onion, and it makes every dish taste garden fresh. Here's the fun part. Let one clump flower. Those purple blossoms are not only beautiful, they attract pollinators like bees and butterflies. You can even eat the flowers. They have a light onion taste and make salads look like something out of a restaurant menu. The best thing you can do for your chives is divide them every few years. Just dig them up, separate the bulbs gently, and replant them in different spots. You'll have a lifetime of supply of chives without ever buying another seed packet. So if you're new to perennials, start here. Chives are forgiving. Even if you forget to water them, they'll forgive you by next spring. Herb 2. Thyme, the herb that outlasts winter. If you live in zones 5 through 9, thyme will become your favorite companion in the garden. It's a low-growing, woody herb that loves sunlight, rocky soil, and being left alone. Most gardeners kill thyme with kindness. They overwater it, fertilize it too often, or plant it in rich, dense soil. But thyme doesn't want pampering. It thrives on tough love. When you touch its leaves, you'll get that warm, earthy aroma that smells like summer in Provence. The kind that lingers on your fingers even after you're done cooking. Thyme is one of those herbs that's both ornamental and practical. In mild climates, it stays evergreen. In colder zones, it might brown out, but the woody base stays alive, waiting to sprout again once the frost passes. I learned something interesting about thyme a few years back. I had one patch growing near a stone walkway, and every time I walked over it, the heat from the stones and the slight pressure released this subtle cloud of fragrance. Visitors used to stop and ask, "What's that smell?" That's thyme. Quiet, humble, unforgettable. If you want to keep it coming back for years, trim it lightly after it blooms to keep it from getting woody. Don't cut too deep into the old stems. Think of it as a haircut, not a reset. And here's the secret. Thyme hates wet feet. Plant it in raised beds or sandy soil where the water drains easily. Do that, and it'll reward you with fresh leaves every spring for the next decade. Herb 3. Mint, the garden's rebel. Now, let's talk about mint, the wild child, the unstoppable, the herb that refuses to stay put. If you live in zones 3 to 11, mint will grow almost anywhere. Shade, sun, damp soil, even between cracks in the sidewalk if you're not careful. It spreads underground through rhizomes, thin roots that snake out in every direction. That's why so many gardeners joke that once you plant mint, you'll never be rid of it. But that's also its superpower. Once you plant mint, you never have to plant it again. You just have to be smart about where you put it. If you don't want your whole garden smelling like peppermint, plant it in a container or bury a pot in the soil to contain its roots. There are hundreds of mint varieties, but the most common in the U.S. are spearmint and peppermint. Spearmint has a sweet, mild taste. It's the one used in mojitos and iced teas. Peppermint is stronger and a bit spicy. It's perfect for candies, tea, and relieving headaches. Here's something you might not know. Mint is a natural insect repellent. Plant it near your patio and it'll keep mosquitoes and flies at bay. Crush a few leaves, rub them between your fingers, and you'll smell pure freshness. No chemicals needed. Mint also survives frost surprisingly well. Even when it looks dead in winter, the roots stay alive underground, ready to send up fresh green shoots in spring. The truth is, mint doesn't just return, it takes over. But if you give it boundaries, it becomes one of the most rewarding, fuss-free herbs you'll ever grow. And if you've ever had a tough day, just walk by your mint patch and brush your hand through it. That scent, it resets you. Every time. Herb 4. Oregano, the garden's protector. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. There's something almost noble about oregano. It doesn't ask for much, just sun, drainage, and space to spread. Yet it gives more flavor than most herbs twice its size. Oregano is native to the Mediterranean, where it thrives on rocky slopes and dry hillsides. That means it loves a bit of struggle. Give it poor soil, skip the fertilizer, and it will thank you by intensifying its flavor. Every time I brush against my oregano patch, that earthy, spicy aroma instantly pulls me into memories of Sunday dinners, roasted chicken, pasta, tomato sauce simmering for hours. That scent is pure comfort. In the U.S., oregano grows beautifully across most states, especially in warmer regions like Texas, Arizona, and California. But even in cooler climates, gardeners in places like Michigan or Maine keep it going year after year by cutting it back and covering it lightly through winter. Here's something most people don't realize. Oregano isn't just delicious, it's a natural protector. Its leaves contain compounds that fight bacteria and fungus. Back in ancient Greece, it was planted near homes to ward off illness. Let it bloom in summer, and bees will swarm to it. Those tiny pinkish-purple flowers are nectar magnets. If you want it to stay full and leafy, trim it before it blooms. But if you want pollinators and beauty, let it flower. Either way, oregano always comes back stronger. Oregano's message is simple. Don't overdo it. Give it sunlight, space, and a little respect, and it'll flavor your meals and your memories for a lifetime. Herb 5. Sage, the wisdom of the garden. Thrives in zones 5 through 8, sometimes into 9. The name sage comes from the Latin word salvere, which means to heal. And that's exactly what this plant has done for centuries, for both gardens and people. Sage is that dusty green, silvery herb that seems to shimmer in the sunlight. It looks delicate, but hides a backbone of iron. You'll find it in cottage gardens across England, in homesteads throughout the Midwest, and on kitchen windowsills from Alberta to Vermont. It's not just hardy, it's historic. The Romans believed sage brought wisdom and long life. Early settlers in North America planted it alongside their vegetables, not just for flavor, but because it repelled pests and purified the air around the garden. When you crush a leaf between your fingers, the scent is deep and calming, woody, herbal, almost spiritual. It's the kind of smell that feels like home. Here's what I love about sage. It doesn't need pampering. It thrives in full sun and well-drained soil, even in places where the ground feels more gravel than dirt. But here's a mistake many gardeners make. After a few years, sage can get woody, with the center dying out. To keep it young and vibrant, prune it right after it flowers. Cut back just enough to encourage fresh shoots, never into the old wood. It won't grow back from there. If you're in a colder area, mulch lightly over the base before winter. Even if the top looks gone, the roots often survive, ready to push new growth come spring. And when you see those soft, fuzzy leaves return, it feels like seeing an old friend walk up the path. My grandmother used to burn a bit of dried sage in the kitchen after long cooking days, not for ceremony, but to clear the air. She said it made the house feel alive again. I think she was right. Herb 6. Rosemary, the herb of memory and endurance. Best in zones 7 through 10, but survives in pots indoors in colder regions. Ah, rosemary. Even saying the word feels comforting. This evergreen herb carries both strength and tenderness. The scent of fresh pine mixed with a hint of flowers and sea breeze. In warm states like Florida, California, and parts of Texas, rosemary grows into full woody shrubs, sometimes 3 or 4 feet tall. It keeps its color and fragrance all year, surviving mild winters with grace. But even if you're in colder areas, New York, Ohio, or across Canada, you can still keep rosemary alive for years. Just pot it and bring it indoors when temperatures dip below freezing. A sunny window or grow light keeps it happy through the cold months. Rosemary has a long reputation as the herb of remembrance. In Old English gardens, it was planted by the door to remind the household of loyalty, friendship, and love. Brides once wore sprigs of it in their hair. In your garden, it remembers you too. It grows better the longer it knows your soil. The first time I grew rosemary, I overwatered it, thinking more care meant more health. It died within weeks. The next time, I planted it in rocky, dry soil, and it thrived. That's when I realized Rosemary's lesson. Strength grows from challenge. If you want it to live long, prune it lightly after flowering. Don't let it sit in soggy soil. It hates wet roots. Once established, it becomes nearly immortal. And when a warm wind brushes past a rosemary bush, the scent carries. Sharp, clean, nostalgic. Every time I smell it, I think of quiet mornings in small gardens along the English coast or backyards in Savannah where rosemary hedges line old stone paths. It's a plant that doesn't just return every year, it reminds you who you were the last time it bloomed. You might have noticed something about all 3 of these herbs, oregano, sage, and rosemary. They don't just feed the body, they feed the soul. They teach patience, endurance, and balance. They thrive when conditions are tough, yet they offer beauty, fragrance, and healing without asking for much in return. And here's a simple truth for every gardener listening right now. If you want your herbs to return every year, give them a reason to stay. Don't overwater. Don't smother. Don't rush. Let them breathe. Let them struggle a little. Because in that quiet struggle, they become stronger, and so does your garden. Herb 7. Lemon Balm, the herb of calm and comfort. Thrives in zones 4 through 9. If your garden ever feels stressful, plant lemon balm. Its scent alone can lift a heavy heart. It smells like sweet lemon with a touch of mint, light, clean, and refreshing. Lemon balm is part of the mint family, which means it shares one of mint's best traits. It comes back year after year, often spreading on its own. But unlike mint, it's gentle and more polite about it. It grows best in full sun, but can handle partial shade, especially in hotter states like Georgia or South Carolina. It's hardy enough to survive frost in places like Michigan, Pennsylvania, or even southern Canada. Just give it a light mulch over winter. What makes lemon balm so special is what it does for you. For centuries, it's been used as a natural relaxant. Herbalists in England once called it the herb of cheerfulness. A cup of lemon balm tea before bed can calm anxiety, steady the nerves, and help you sleep. But it doesn't stop there. Bees adore it. Its small white blossoms are rich with nectar, and you'll see pollinators buzzing around all summer long. Here's a personal tip. Grow lemon balm near your sitting area or patio. Every time the wind blows or you brush against it, that lemony scent fills the air. You'll feel like your garden is giving you a quiet thank you. And yes, it returns every spring, often stronger than before. So if you want a garden that soothes both soil and soul, plant lemon balm. It'll remind you that peace doesn't need to be planted twice. Herb 8. Lovage, the forgotten giant of old gardens. Survives in zones 3 through 9. Now here's a plant that deserves a comeback. Lovage. Most gardeners today have never heard of it, but it used to be a staple in every English and early American garden. Lovage is like celery's older, stronger cousin, taller, more aromatic, and 10 times more flavorful. In a good spot, it can grow 6 feet tall, with hollow green stems and leaves that look a bit like parsley. The entire plant is edible, leaves, stems, and even seeds. It has a clean, slightly spicy taste, perfect for soups, stews, or chicken broth. Lovage is one of those herbs that seems almost immortal. Plant it once, and you'll see it return for decades. It prefers full sun, but can handle partial shade in warmer climates. It loves rich, moist soil and rewards you with lush, deep green growth. In colder regions, like the northern U.S. or Canada, it dies back completely in winter, but the roots remain alive beneath the frost. Come spring, new shoots push through like clockwork. It's also a powerful companion plant. Its strong scent repels pests, and its tall structure provides light shade for smaller herbs. Farmers in Europe used to plant it near cabbage and beans to keep aphids away. But Lovage's charm goes beyond practicality. It carries a bit of nostalgia, the kind of herb that feels like it belongs in a storybook garden, beside stone fences and wooden gates. If you want something different, something that sparks curiosity when visitors see it towering in your garden, plant Lovage. It's a conversation starter and a reminder of gardening traditions almost forgotten. Herb 9. Tarragon, the chef's secret perennial. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. French tarragon prefers milder winters. Now let's talk about an elegant herb that every cook should know. Tarragon. French tarragon is the one you want. Artemisia dracunculus var. Sativa. It's the one chefs swear by for its delicate, anise-like flavor that makes sauces, chicken, and fish taste extraordinary. If you've ever enjoyed béarnaise sauce, you've already tasted tarragon's magic. Here's the catch. You can't grow true French tarragon from seed. It's sterile. You have to plant it from cuttings or buy a small plant from a nursery. But once it's rooted, it will live for years. It's a bit picky. It likes warmth, light, and well-drained soil. In cold regions, give it some protection over winter with mulch or straw. In the southern U.S., give it a little afternoon shade to prevent scorching. What I love most about tarragon is its loyalty. It disappears in winter, sometimes completely, making you think it's gone. But then, when spring returns, so does that faint green shoot. It's like it was just waiting for the right moment to wake up. You'll notice that its scent is unlike any other herb, sharp but sweet with a hint of licorice. It's refined, yet wild. A small sprig can transform a whole dish, and once you've cooked with it, you'll understand why chefs call it liquid sunlight. If you grow it near your kitchen door, it'll become your go-to plant every summer evening when you're cooking something special. And if you care for it gently, it'll return the favor year after year. Herb 10. Catnip, the happy surprise. Zones 3 through 9 survives in nearly every US and UK region. Let's end with a smile and the herb that brings pure joy to your garden. Catnip isn't just for cats, though your furry friends will thank you for it. It's a strong mint family perennial that grows almost anywhere, from the sunny gardens of Florida to the cooler hills of Washington or the Scottish countryside. Most people plant catnip for their pets, but it's a hidden gem for humans too. It has mild calming properties when brewed into tea, helping with restlessness and even headaches. The plant itself is lovely, with gray-green leaves with a soft, velvety touch, and small clusters of white or lavender flowers that bees absolutely love. If you've ever watched a cat roll in it, you know it's pure comedy. But here's the surprise. Catnip also repels mosquitoes. Grow it near your patio and you'll have fewer pests and more pollinators. A rare win-win. Catnip spreads easily, just like mint, so give it room or keep it contained in a pot. It dies back in winter, but returns fast in spring, thicker than before. And when those first green leaves reappear, you can't help but feel a little joy. It's as if the garden itself is laughing with you. By now, you've met 10 herbs that prove something powerful. Your garden can take care of itself if you give it the right allies. From the humble chive to the towering lovage, from calming lemon balm to playful catnip, each one is nature's way of saying, you don't have to start over every year. They remind us that good things come back if you let them. And if you're listening to this thinking, I want that kind of garden, one that remembers me, then here's your sign. Start with just one of these herbs. Watch it grow back next spring. Let that moment surprise you. Because once you experience a garden that lives on its own rhythm, you'll never want to go back to replanting. If you found this helpful and want to learn which of these herbs grow best together and how to turn your perennial patch into a living ecosystem, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Your garden doesn't need to be temporary. Let's make it timeless.